مرحبا وأهلا وسهلا فيكم بحلقة جديدة من السياسة والناس عبر ترانسبارنسي. ضيفي بهيدي الحلقة هو جدا مميز، هو الخبير بالشؤون الجيوسياسية والاقتصادية، رجل الأعمال اللبناني الأمريكي زياد عبد النور. طبعا زياد عبد النور هو المؤسس والرئيس والمدير التنفيذي لشركة بلاك هوك بارتنرز، هو مؤسس ورئيس مجلس إدارة مجلس السياسات المالية، رئيس المجلس الاستشاري لشركة هوكستورم جلوبال. هو مؤلف الكتاب الأكثر مبيعاً الحرب الاقتصادية، أسرار تكوين الثروة في عصر سياسات الرفاهية، يتحدث فيه عن الاقتصاد والسياسة من منظور ليبرالي محافظ إلى جانب إصدارات أخرى. طبعاً يتمتع السيد عبد النور بخبرة تزيد عن 40 عام بول ستريت بدعم أكثر من 150 شركة، وكان من القلائل يلي تمكنوا من دخول باب وول ستريت وهو بيحمل اسم عربي. اليوم ينظر له على نطاق واسع على أنه أحد أكبر قادة الأعمال من قبل كتار حول العالم. هو واحد من أكثر من 500 مدير تنفيذي تأثيراً بالعالم، ومن بين أشهر 300 ممول أمريكي بتاريخ الولايات المتحدة. طبعاً إلى جانب انشغالاته الكثيرة كرجل مال وأعمال ومحاضر بالشأن الاستثماري والمصرفي، نشط زياد عبد النور بعالم السياسة الأمريكية عن الحزب الجمهوري، وبات مقرب من أكبر وأهم الضباط في الحزب الجمهوري، وأيضاً من الرئيسين جورج بوش ودونالد ترامب. كتب مقالات بشؤون لبنان والشرق الأوسط، وبرز اسمه بشكل مثير للجدل بعد ما كتب تقرير بعنوان إنهاء الاحتلال السوري للبنان، الدور الأمريكي بالعام 2000، بالاشتراك مع مدير منتدى الشرق الأوسط الكاتب والمؤرخ الأمريكي المثير للجدل أيضاً دانيال بيبس. وقد استحضر ذلك على أثر ذلك عدوات كثيرة، وبات موصوف من بعض وسائل الإعلام اللبنانية والعربية بأنه عميل استخبارات وراعي إرهاب. وهذا الشيء غير مثير للعجب، إذ أنه هذا التقرير استخدم فيما بعد نواة لوضع قانون محاسبة سوريا واستعادة سياسة لبنان يلي صوت عليه الكونغرس ورفعه الرئيس الأمريكي جورج بوش بكانون الأول من العام 2003. بصرني رحب فيك أستاذ زياد، دايما صوتك عالي وأنا من الأشخاص يلي عم بيتابعوا مواقفك. أهلا وسهلا فيك.
My pleasure, Patricia. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for hosting.
أهلا وسهلا. I just want to say that the interview will be conducted in a mix of Arabic and English, as the podcast is primarily in Arabic, but our dear guest expresses himself more comfortably in English, having spent the past 40 years in the United States. Mr. زياد، يعني ترامب عم يطرح نفسه كرجل سلام وعم يتكلم عن فرض هذا السلام بالقوة، وأنا بعرف أنه علاقتك بالرئيس ترامب عمرها 20 سنة. نحن بنعرف أن الشرق الأوسط عم يشهد تحولات متسارعة بالعلاقة. بدي روح أول شيء لعلاقتك بالرئيس ترامب، هذا الرئيس يلي بس وصل على سدة الرئاسة العالم توقع تغيراته بالفعل، عم نشوف مواقف وعم نشوف أفعال مغايرة لما كان سائد قبل ترامب. خبرني أول شيء عن علاقتك بالرئيس ترامب أستاذ زياد عبد النور.
Well, it's a very long-term relationship that goes back to 2015, even before he was elected, when he was a developer in New York City. We come from the same school. I'm a graduate of the Wharton School, the same as him. I'm also into real estate and other activities, the same as him. And we're both New Yorkers. Met him a number of times at social occasions. And starting 2016, I've been a big fundraiser for his campaign.
No.
I am really one of his top 100 fundraisers in the globe. So I like his style. He's a straight guy, no beating around the bush. He says what he means and he gets things done. It's all about execution. A lot of presidents talk and talk, but they don't execute. Trump executes, and this is what matters. For any position, for any person in a leadership position, it's all about execution. It's not about talk and, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Every president says he wants to do something, they end up doing nothing. They're kicking the can. Until now, we reached a deficit of $36 trillion, and we're in big trouble here in the United States. Trump is the only president who can turn the situation around. I don't agree with his style. Sometimes he can be very offensive, but he gets things done. We need results. Leadership is about results.
Exactly.
That's all what it is.
Exactly. يعني ترامب عم بيطرح حاله هلا رجل سلام وعم بيفرض السلام بالقوة. هل فكرة السلام والقوة بتزبط على بعضها، بتزبط من بعضها؟
Absolutely. This is the absolute way of doing it. You use the carrots and the stick. Sometimes you use the carrot, sometimes you use the stick. This is the art of the deal, indeed. This is how all those people who accomplish things in a position of power do. And I totally concur with this strategy. It's not brute force and it's not pure diplomacy. It's a combination between Neville Chamberlain and Winston Churchill.
شفنا رئيس ترامب مع زيلينسكي وكان لقاء جدا غريب، يمكن بحياة الدبلوماسية مش شايفين لقاء مماثل. كمان سمعنا الرئيس ترامب عم بيحكي عن ترانسفير من غزة. كمان هلأ بالمفاوضات الإيرانية الأمريكية. بدي روح معك شوي على شخصية الرئيس ترامب والتحرك، هيك تحركه بكل هيدي القصص، يعني وكمان فرض الضرائب. أنت كيف شايف سياسة ترامب رايحة بالنسبة لكل هالمواضيع وبالنسبة تحديدا للشرق الأوسط؟
Look, Trump basically says things just to get people's feedback. It doesn't mean that he's going to do them, and people go and get panicked. He's going to do this, he's going to do that. He's for peace, he's for war, etc. Trump is very unpredictable. And this is his strength, being unpredictable. You don't want to show what your next move is. You want to throw different moves, see how people react, and position yourself accordingly. That's strategic, and that's how it should be. A lot of people do not understand Trump because he's unlike any president before him. Any president, they all talk, we know their next move, they get emotional. Trump is far from being emotional, although he's impulsive. Every move is calculated. Every strategy is well thought of. He surrounded himself with top-notch people, best-of-breed people who know their stuff inside out. Trump is the example of leadership. What he has accomplished so far in the first 4 years is remarkable. What he's accomplished right now is not just remarkable, he's a game changer. He's going to change the face of the earth, and he's going to do it. He's just been in power for 3 months. Give him some time. I'm with him regarding the tariffs. It's disruptive to the stock market, the bond market, the futures market, but this is temporary. You don't press a button and expect changes. We're moving a big dragon, which is the United States, and this is what it takes. So I'm fully confident with his capabilities, and I fully understand his flaws. Nobody's perfect. And then when they say Trump shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, Trump is the president of the United States. He's not the Pope. He's not here to basically do everything that we like. Sometimes you have to take decisions that are not very popular, but that work, that can be effective.
عظيم. يشهد الشرق الأوسط تحولات متسارعة بالعلاقة بين إيران والولايات المتحدة، في مفاوضات جارية، ويقال أنه هذه المفاوضات إيجابية. بدي أشوف رأيك بهذه المفاوضات يلي يمكن الملف النووي هو أساسها، كمان عم ينحكى بالصواريخ البالستية وعم ينحكى أيضا بأذرع إيران.
Look, the Iranians will do everything they can to buy time. hoping that one day Trump in 4 years is not going to be in power and they're going to be able to do whatever they want.
No.
Well, this is not going to work with Trump. Trump is a deal maker. He's not going to wait for the Iranians to buy the time. And the same thing for the Lebanese with Hezbollah.
No.
They're going to buy the time. They say, okay, Trump will be out in 4 years, then we'll deal with it. There is no room for kicking the can. He's going to get things done immediately. He's going to force the Iranians, whether by hook or by crook, by diplomacy, by bullying, by any tactic he's going to use, to comply.
No.
And at the end of the day, they will comply. Do I think there's going to be war? No. People threaten of war. He's a peace president. He threatens of war, but at the end of the day, there's no war. He's the only president that never had war in his first 4 years, and that he's not expected to have war. Trump is about his legacy.
No.
He doesn't want to be viewed as a war president. Not sure, but he will use all the tactics he can, and he's very, very, very skilled at that. And so do I see war? No, I don't see war. I think the Iranians are going to comply. I think everybody's going to comply. And that's pretty much my opinion.
طيب هلا عم ينحكى كأساس الملف النووي وإيران لم تقل يوما أنها عملت لتصنيع سلاح نووي. بدي روح شوي على موضوع الأزرع الإيرانية بالمنطقة وعلى موضوع الصواريخ البالستية. هل برأيك هذه المفاوضات ستتضمن كل هذا؟
Yes, it's going to comprise everything, absolutely everything. They're not going to leave any stone unturned.
No.
None, nothing, no stone unturned. That's critical. It's not a question of just Iran, the United States. This is an existential threat for Iran, for the Middle East at large. They don't want a nuclear war in the Middle East, and it's not going to happen. The Iranians are playing their game. They think they're so smart on that, and they're going to outsmart Trump. They're not going to outsmart Trump. I can assure you that.
بدي روح شوي على الموضوع اللبناني. كيف أول شيء شفت انطلاقة العهد وصول الرئيس جوزيف عون على سدة الرئاسة رئيس الحكومة نواف سلام على رأس الحكومة وأداء الوزراء كونك مطلع على الشأن اللبناني؟
I am very much aware. I have more intelligence on Lebanon than anybody in Lebanon, than the head of intelligence on Lebanon. I'm extremely aware. I think the coming of President Aoun and Prime Minister Salam, so far so good. But frankly, I have huge doubt. I'm cautiously optimistic. Why? Number one, under Michel Aoun, General Joseph Aoun, he didn't do anything. He has no track record. So yeah, it's all good talk and the speeches and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, but no execution. The same here today. They're trying to execute, but they're very wary of executing. No execution. So far it's all promises and aspirations and nice, talk, etc. No execution. It's all about execution. They're afraid of executing. They're super analyzing things instead of completely rallying towards rebuilding Lebanon, destroying Hezbollah infrastructure, and making things happen. They're still debating things. As to the other ministers, well, there are some people who worked for big corporations. Doesn't mean nothing. They cannot run a country on that. They don't have the background of that. But we will see. Time will tell. I'm giving them time. 6 months is more than enough. If within 6 months they don't execute, neither the president, prime minister, or the ministers, there's going to be big trouble. There's going to be war. There's going to be things. Trump will impose his view, will impose his ideas there, whether they like it or not. He's giving them time to breathe, to react. But at the end of the day, it's up to the Lebanese. The Americans are doing everything they can to fix the situation. And believe it or not, they have good intentions. Trump is planning to come soon to Lebanon to visit the new U.S. embassy. No president ever did that before. Trump is committed to Lebanon. Trump likes a lot of the Lebanese Americans. I know a lot of friends here, Lebanese Americans, who always attend to the inauguration, to Trump, etc. He's very much aware of that. This is really favorite people in the Middle East, to be honest with you, because he can talk to them. The diaspora is doing everything they can. But at the end of the day, it's up to the Lebanese administration, the president, and the prime minister.
استاذ زياد، هلا انت عم بتقول انه بعد ما كله حكي، بعد ما تنفذ شيء من هيدا الكلام، بس نحن بنعرف انه الجيش عم ينتشر بالجنوب. بنعرف حتى اليوم صار في كمان مداهمه لسحب سلاح من مخيم فلسطيني، كمان في مداهمات لمخازن لحزب الله عم بتصير. هلا يمكن منه كافي، وإنما عم نشوف نهج آخر، حتى موضوع المطار والتفتيش، حتى موضوع استدعاء وزير الخارجية اليوم للسفير الإيراني بلبنان، لأنه حط على اكس بوست تعرض فيه وقال إنه موضوع السلاح هو ما بيصير. استدعى وزير الخارجية اللبناني. يعني عم نشوف مظاهر ما كنا نشوفها قبل.
It's very true. It's much better. It's much better than in the past, but it's far from being enough. The president, the administration has to take a firm stand, not play on words with Morgan Ortegas, Walid Blood, and all these people, and Nabih Berri, who's been there forever. These guys should basically, go retire. Enough. We need a new generation. We need a new outlook. We need to sign peace with every country surrounding us, including Israel. Enough of this ideology that's going nowhere. We need access to capital. I'm a capitalist. This is what it takes. To have access to capital, you have to basically prepare the path. Without capital, Lebanon is going nowhere. No. Even the Arabs, the Saudis, saying we're not investing in Lebanon until Hezbollah is totally dismantled. A lot of the Arab countries, European, US, of course, everybody, they don't want their capital hostage. Capitalism, the capitalists are coward people. They are cowards. They're afraid all the time. So they want to make sure that their capital is safe. No. The number one thing we need is access to capital. And to have access to capital, and I'm talking as a New Yorker here, you have to basically remove all these restrictions and act fast and show a very clear determination as what you plan to do. We don't have 6 years. We don't have 2 years. This has to be done now. Time is of the essence. Trump is very impatient, and he's surrounded with a hawkish administration. Marco Rubio is a hawk. All of them are hawks. There's no dogs out there. There's no patient people out there. They want to do something. They are moving at 100 miles an hour. We're moving at 5 miles an hour. It's not going to happen. No. This thing is analysis, paralysis. It's not going to work. We need to move fast, decisively, and make things happen.
حكيت عن لازم إذا بدك القيادات التقليدية تتقاعد. شو رأيك بالأحزاب الموجودة على الساحة واللي بتقول عن حالها أحزاب سيادية؟
We don't need them. We don't need them. We don't need them. We don't need any one of them. I've never been associated with any political parties. These are slogans. We don't need them. They don't. They don't have any special skills than that. They are not in any special skills. They're not respected anywhere. Very few countries in the civilized world today have this structure we have in Lebanon. We have the head of the parliament who's been there for I don't know how many years, 50 years or whatever. All the traditional names, all the cult of the personality. This cult of the personality, there are a lot of super smart, super resourceful Lebanese who are not part of this closed club cult of the personality that have to take power, that have to come up with their ideas. Look what happened to Dubai, to Abu Dhabi, to the whole Middle East. This was not clubs of people and families who did that. This was not the royal family. This was individuals merchants, business people, etc. Enough lawyers, politicians, and all that crap. This has to be run, Lebanon has to be run as a business by business people, not the traditional families, not the traditional parties. This is going nowhere. We still live in the 70s and 80s and 60s even, or 50s even, if you go back to Jumblat and Jmail and all the big families. You know, they've played their role. That's fine. They have empowered a lot of people. That's fine. But it's time to really give up. Enough of this cult of the personality. Lebanon today in 2025 is and should be a different country.
صحيح. بدي روح معك أستاذ عبد النور على الشيء اللي عم بيقوله فخامة رئيس الجمهورية، موضوع الاستراتيجية الدفاعية وموضوع الحوار مع حزب الله لتسليم السلاح. ما رأيك بالاستراتيجية الدفاعية؟ هل هي لربح الوقت؟
Hezbollah is not going to disarm. Hezbollah is not going to disarm. They love power, they seek power, and they want power. They're not going to disarm. This is lunacy. People in power will not relinquish power that easily.
No.
Look at history, whether the Lebanese politicians, the big families, whether Hezbollah, etc. The only you take power is by force. There is no power given, granted. Look at history. It's always like this. Look at the Nazis, you know, Hitler versus the Allies. They only could take power by force, the Allies. Hitler was never going to relinquish anything. You know, that's the whole thing. If they think that one day the Lebanese politician who made a lot of money, who have all the power, absolute power, are going to relinquish this, they're dreaming. If you think that Hezbollah will always find ways to regain, to reconstruct, to negotiate. They will not give power. You either crush them and put them out of business, or you're going nowhere. You cannot build a nation and access billions of dollars with an organization like Hezbollah in power and with the actual politicians of the last 50 years in power. Yes, I am calling for a revolution. Yes.
يمكن
I'm calling for peace. I'm calling for peace.
Yes.
Yes. Let me set the record straight. People say, oh, you know, I work for CIA, I work for Mossad, because of the relationships I have. I work for nobody. We're not funded by anybody. We cannot be bought and sold by anyone. We don't need their money. We don't need their support. You can be pro-Lebanon without being pro-Israel or pro-Syrian. That's the problem with the Lebanese. If you get to the top of the heap, the top of the world, they say, oh, this guy is backed by Israel, or this guy is backed by Syria, or by Iran, or by whatever connotation they say. It's all bullshit. You can't have a Lebanese rise to the top, not 1 zillion of them in the world, in the diaspora, without being backed by somebody. We're not backed by anyone. I don't have an agenda. I don't want to be minister, deputy. I have no political agenda. All what I want is save Lebanon from, save Lebanon. See it as a prosperous country where I can travel there. I cannot travel there. Oh, this guy talks too much, etc. He's dangerous. Well, you know, I'm dangerous. Why not? If you're not dangerous in this world, you're nobody. You're a dust in the wind. I'm dangerous for good because I love my homeland, because I want to make a difference outside the traditional establishment. You cannot make a difference inside the establishment. If you think so, you're going to be bought and sold and corrupted, and this is what's happening. You cannot.
Amazing what you are saying. أستاذ زياد عبد النور، يمكن رئيس الجمهورية عم يطلب وقت زيادة كرمال ما نفوت بهيدي المواجهة بين حزب الله والجيش، وقد يكون الجيش يلي بعد منه مجهز لوجستيا بشكل مثل ما لازم. يعني رئيس الجمهورية عم بخاف من هيدي المواجهة، وهيدي مواجهة أنت بتعرف إنه منا هينة أبدا.
Well, number one, the army is not that weak. They have 70,000 soldiers. Plus you add at least, plus you add to that 15,000 from the UN, UNIFIL.
نعم.
That's around 85, 90,000. That's a substantial force. Hezbollah has been weakened a lot. They don't have the same manpower they had.
نعم.
So I don't think he should be afraid. Afraid? He's a general. This is his job. He's been doing it for 6 years. He did nothing. Now is the opportunity to be not just general, but president also. There's nothing to be afraid. What is going to be afraid of what? Enough is enough. You can't be afraid and save a country and run a country and change the structure. You cannot. Hezbollah's power is overestimated. Is overestimated. They don't have this kind of power. We have the power. Enough of what? I mean, I only see the army dressed up well and going parading here and there. Do your job.
إذا بدي روح معك على أنت شو لازم ينعمل لنكون إذا بدك ماشيين بالإصلاح والطريق الصحيحة. يعني في عنا مسار داخلي، في عنا موضوع إيران، وفي عنا الموضوع السوري. نحن كلبنان شو لازم نكون عم نعمل أستاذ زياد؟ كونك ايكونومكس، كونك حدا ناشط سياسي، شو بنقدر نحن وشو بتقول لرئيس الجمهورية ورئيس الحكومة وللوزراء وللنواب؟
We have to be an outpost of the United States in the Middle East.
نعم.
An outpost. Now there is an embassy. This embassy is going to be the second largest embassy in the world. Means they have intention to use Lebanon and to work with Lebanon. We have to play full ball with the United States. In 1983, when there was the dismantling of the barracks, where the U.S. Marines lost 400 people, I wrote a letter to President Reagan then, telling him to start a U.S. base in Lebanon. He never did it. He had the USS New Jersey packed back and didn't do nothing. If he did that then in 83, Lebanon would have never had these problems. Osama bin Laden, Hezbollah, all these terrorist organizations would have never existed because we didn't do that. Because he acted as a wimp, Reagan, unlike Trump. What we're doing now, 40 years later, is doing exactly what I said we should be done 40 years ago by establishing this U.S. embassy in Lebanon. These guys, the only language they understand is power. If you don't show them power and absolutely execute on power, they're going to take you as a paper tiger. They don't care. They don't care. We have to show power. We have to show full backing of the United States, and peace with every single Arab country. Dubai, every single Arab country, including Israel. I wrote an article back in 1984. I said, Lebanon, Israel's true partner. How the Lebanon and the Israelis can absolutely reshape the whole Middle East. I was criticized intensely. I was way ahead of my time. I was criticized intensively as a CIA agent, as a Mossad agent, which is all crap. This was never the intent. I never did any partnership with any Israeli ever. This was a vision of Lebanon. We have to be foresighted. We have to have, vision. We have to have courage. We have to execute. All the rest for the last 40, 50 years is survival. We're basically survival. We're always on the wrong side of the team. We're always on the wrong side. We're on the side of the Iranians. We're on the side of the Syrians. We're always on the wrong side, never on the right side. Having the U.S. as a backer, etc., it doesn't mean that we are slaves to the U.S. No. Encourage a lot of people to invest in Lebanon. Lebanon is a beautiful country with very smart people. The only thing it needs, the right people in power and access to capital. If you don't have the endorsement of the United States, you're never going to have access to capital. Europeans will not give that much. You're never going to have access to capital. And the Saudis the same because they follow what the U.S. does, and most of the Arab countries, because they protect them from the UAE to we have to look at it from a geopolitical point of view. It's all about money, access to money, and access to both human capital and financial capital. Human capital alone is not enough, and financial capital alone is not enough. This is what makes a country strong. And choosing the right allies to execute on your programs. I think they should, the US is bending over to make things happen and to turn Lebanon into a powerhouse. What are the Lebanese doing? They're still thinking, analyzing. They make one step forward, two steps backward. One step forward, two steps backward.
نعم.
You know what? We don't have 50 years.
شفنا نائبة المبعوث الأمريكي للشرق الأوسط مورغان أورتيغوس وحضرتك حكيت عنها. شفنا اختلاف بالخطاب. أول مرة اجت من قلب قصر بعبدة، حكيت بطريقة بطريقة واضحة، بطريقة هلأ الخطاب الآخر عم بيكون شوي أكتر كيف بيقولوا يعني أنعم، بمعنى هل وهي طبعا ما عم بتعبر عن حالها، عم بتعبر عن رأي الإدارة الأمريكية.
Okay, I get you. Look, they're calibrating the message. That's a typical Trump approach. You bully, you talk diplomacy, you test all strategies and see what works. That's what she's doing. She's calibrating. There's no, at the end of the day, what matters is the action, what they're going to do, not what they're going to say. So all these supposed experts in Lebanon, they understand nothing. They just say, she said that, this is what's going to happen. No, that's not what's going to happen. She's warning you. She's testing you. She's giving you a message. The United States doesn't want Hezbollah to have anything to do with Lebanon. The United States wants to use Lebanon or work with Lebanon as an outpost in the Middle East because of the potential they see of the Lebanese and of Lebanon, whether natural resources, human resources, everything. This is what they want. This is the final agenda. Now, how they achieve this, whether by bullying or by diplomacy or by negotiation, changes, is variable. This is how smart people work.
By bullying, you mean crack is whack, Walid?
Yes. I mean, by bullying, by basically challenging. They challenge the establishment, they challenge this Hezbollah. At the end of the day, the end result they want is peace and prosperity, and have Lebanon as an outpost in the Middle East. Like they have Israel as their outpost, like they have Israel as their outpost. You know, Lebanese complain, oh, we can't compete with Israel, we can't do this bullshit. We can't compete. But in order to compete with anybody, to Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Israel, any one of our neighboring countries, we have to have the backing of somebody strong with people, competent people in power in Lebanon. No. That's how you compete. There's nothing the Israelis have that we don't have in the diaspora. The Lebanese have the largest diaspora in the world. That's 20 million people. Now, you're going to tell me, you know how many people will come back to Lebanon? You know how many billions of dollars will be invested in Lebanon if this scenario ever works?
حكيت أكثر من مرة عن السفارة الأمريكية، عن كبر هالسفارة، عن تاني أكبر سفارة يمكن بالشرق الأوسط.
مش بالشرق الأوسط، بالعالم كله.
بالعالم كله in the whole world. البعض اعتبر إنه أمريكا عم تبني قاعدة عسكرية بلبنان.
Why not? Why not? I mean, you know, I prefer to have a U.S. base in Lebanon rather than an Iranian base. So why not? What's wrong with that? At least this is going to give some confidence. We can have U.S.-based laws, etc. Why not? There's nothing wrong in that. Why are we afraid of that? Why are we going to stay drowning in our stupidity?
عظيم.
Why not?
ترامب جاي لينفذ وليشتغل على السلام وعلى أبراهام أكور. نحن ب17 أيار كنا مضينا السلام مع إسرائيل، إلا إنه الظروف لم تشأ. نحن هلأ وين بهيدا المطرح سياسيا؟ هل نحن مع قيادة العالم العربي السعودية؟ رح نكون بعد السعودية في حال مضيت السعودية السلام مع إسرائيل، رح نكون نحن تاني بلد؟
أي تاني بلد؟ I hear people in Lebanon saying, politicians, stupid politicians, Lebanon will be the last country who's going to sign a peace treaty with Israel. It's like they're proud of this. I mean, how can you be proud of this? You want to be the last country that signs peace with Israel? You already have a bankrupt economy.
No.
have a bankruptcy of affair, and you want to be the last one to some people do it? What can you be proud of? You know, as long as you have these traditional people in power, nothing is going to change because they have very fixated ideas as to how Lebanon should be. They haven't learned anything from the past. They haven't learned anything from history. They're clinging to power no matter what. They're bankrupting the country. They stole millions and billions of dollars. They use Lebanon piggy bank, as their piggy bank, etc. And the more they can stay in power, the more they can do that. Anybody who comes and challenges them is either jailed, kidnapped, executed, or basically they defame him or her. This is not how you want to. They're doing exactly the opposite of bringing Lebanon to change. Exactly the opposite. Nothing they're doing is right. And all these excuses about Hezbollah, the Lebanese army not being strong enough. Lebanese army is strong enough if they have some real balls to crush Hezbollah. We in the United States, I've initiated with a bunch of guys the Hezbollah Accountability Act. It's going to be like the Syria Accountability Act, 1559, and others,
رح نروح.
whereby we're gonna put the nail on the coffin of Hezbollah. Enough is enough.
عظيم. بدي اروح كمان معك على الشغل يلي عم تعملوه بواشنطن بامريكا، على انتم مجموعه من شخصيات مؤثره واصحاب قرار واعلاميين عم تشتغلوا على ريزولوشنز بالكونغرس الامريكي او 3 قوانين تحمل بمجملها يعني منع تزايد نفوذ حزب الله السياسي والعسكري. من هذه القوانين أو الاقتراحات حزب الله accountability يلي بيدعي لمساءلة حزب الله ومحاسبته. خبرنا شوي عن هذا الاقتراح، كيف عم تشتغلوا عليه، وهل وصل للكونغرس، هل تبناه أحد النواب، شو بيتضمن؟
Well, it basically calls about holding Hezbollah accountable for everything they did over the last 40 years.
No.
You can't do what you did and not be accountable. That's very simple.
No.
In terms of discussion, yes, we are in discussion with a number of senators and congressmen in the Foreign Affairs Committee, in the Armed Service Intelligence Committee, in everything. They're aware of it, both Republicans and Democrats, bipartisan. And, we started this work 3 months ago only. It's not that we started the work 3 years ago. And we're moving very fast towards this bill passing. And also we're tying it up with other similar bills that are in Congress regarding financing, regarding corruption. There's like 20 bills out there. Ours is a bit different and includes all of the other bills also. We're working with very credible organizations and think tanks in Washington who have been doing this for a long time. We're not doing it on our own, who have the contacts, the relationships, the access and everything. So, and the group is growing. We have a number of activists that are coming on board that are seeing that our organization is the most effective in town. Because at the end of the day, in most of these American organizations, they all failed because there's always has to be, they compete on a position. Who's going to run it? I don't care. I started it. I don't need the credit. I don't need anything. I just want to get it done. For me, all what matters in business is results. No. I'm not here to take any credit, to brag about anything, results. If somebody can help me achieve what I want and it does a better job than me, you're welcome. I have no ego. I look at the end game, the results. How many people have we empowered? Look, at the end of the day, I learned one thing in business. Success is about empowering people. It's not about how much money you made. The more people you empower, the more successful you're going to be. The more people you inspire, the more successful you're going to be and they're going to be. This is what success is all about. That's all what matters. And in Lebanon, on the contrary, everybody wants to take the credit. Everybody wants to make more money. This guy makes more money. I'm making more money. They're competing on that. Wrong education, wrong build-up, wrong vision,
Exactly.
and then you wonder why we are in,
Unfortunately. Yes.
and then you wonder why we are in such a situation.
بدي اشوف كرمال موضوع الحزب الله accountability اي متى متوقعين شو متوقعين منه اي متى متوقعين يتبنى يتم تبنيه بالكونغرس الامريكي.
Well, it's going to be as soon as we can. You know, there's some factors. You know, now the Trump administration is busy with a lot of issues. China, Russia, Iran. So this will come under the context of Iran. I mean, the timing is going to be soon. I cannot tell you an exact date. This is not, I'm not in control of that. But one thing I can assure you that it's happening.
ان شاء الله we hope so. وانا بعرف انه
There's no hope. There's no hope. I don't believe in hope. When we take an assignment, we're going to do it, whatever it takes. Hope and Jesus and Allah, and you know, we hope so. We don't work like this. We either take an assignment and close it no matter what, or we don't take it. This is what I've done all my life in business. Either I take a deal, an assignment, whether a political cause or anything, or we don't do it. There's no hope. All the factors are here. All the stars are lined up. We have a Trump administration who's very close to our thing. We have a Republican Senate. We have a Republican House. The judiciary is in Trump's control. All the stars are lined up to happen. Plus the circumstances in the Middle East, with the Arab world, with the Abraham Accord, with Israel, etc. Every single checkbox is there. So there's no reason why it shouldn't happen. Nobody is big enough to disrupt this order.
بدي اروح معك بهيدا الملف على مستقبل لبنان المالي كونك ضليع بالواقع الاقتصادي. نحن بنعرف انه لبنان دخل بالعام 2019 نفق مظلم وما زال يتخبط محاولا الخروج منه بعد انهيار اقتصادي ومالي غير مسبوق. نحن اليوم عم بتشارك لبنان باجتماعات الربيع السنوية بواشنطن مع صندوق النقد الدولي والبنك الدولي والجهات المانحة. هل بتلاقي أنه هناك فرصة حقيقية لهذه المفاوضات؟ وهل رح يكون هذا الاتفاق جواز عبور للحصول على مساعدات دولية؟
Yes, I mean, look, the good news, we have a central bank governor who's exceptional. He has all the qualifications. He has the trust of a lot of people. And I definitely think he can execute. The thing I would like him to do more is to be more accessible.
No.
He's not very accessible. He doesn't talk a lot. Well, you know, given that he has to resolve all these issues, he has to be much more reaching out and talkative and expressing his views and his opinion. This would help a lot, and this would give more confidence and stability in the markets. He's not doing that, but I'm sure he will do it. He's a smart guy. So that's one. Second, at the end of the day, you cannot have support from the IMF, the World Bank, and all these organizations without fixing your house first. I'm talking about Hezbollah. I'm talking about all these organizations. You cannot have the cake and eat it too when you're harboring these kind of organizations. As I said before, capital is coward. Capital is afraid. They will not go to places where you have lots of instability, lots of problems, lots of variables that are not controlled, not by the prime minister, not by the president. You cannot. Capital and prosperity and they follow each other. We don't have this yet. So when the IMF tells you, or the World Bank tells you we need to have this, when the Saudis tells you we need to have this, and we still come and cling to Hezbollah and the ideology, this is very bad. You're not going to tell the IMF what you need. They're going to tell you what they need to give you the money. You know, look, at the end of the day, I mean, this is the problem with Lebanon. They think that they are the center of the world, and the whole world is going to do what they want without giving anything in return. Doesn't work like this. Doesn't work like this. You have to give and take. We don't want to give anything. We're always playing the victim. تعالوا ساعدونا, help us, but we are the center of the world. Enough of this attitude, this arrogance. This is arrogance, ignorance, and stupidity. We have to play ball. We don't have much cards with us, aces, to win. So you're going to have to develop these aces to win. I've been lobbying for Lebanon for 40 years, not 40 years, since 1996. Okay. I succeeded, my organization, whereby other Lebanese American organizations succeeded, because Lebanese American organization, when they go to Congress, they play, oh, you know, we're the victim, come and help us do this, do that. They don't want to hear this. What they want to hear is, we're here, a bunch of Lebanese American, we're here to promote American interest in the region. This is how they listen to you. They don't care about you, which is a lot of people mistaken for that. They care about their interest. Now, if you make their interest coincide with yours, you're winning. You totally won. This is how the Israelis work. You know, their interest, the U.S. interests, are totally aligned. If our interests are not aligned with the United States, will not get their backing, will not get their support, will not get access to capital, will not get all this resurrection, having Lebanon rise like a phoenix from the ashes.
حضرتك عم بتقول انه في رضا امريكي على حاكم مصرف لبنان كريم سعيد.
Yes.
ولكن وانت متفائل مع انه هناك
Yeah.
يعني يمكن نقطتين اساسيتين ذكرتهم منهم تنفيذ الاصلاحات، تنفيذ القرارات الدولية من 1701، كمان في موضوع الفجوة المالية واموال المودعين. طب اذا هو ما صاروا المفاوضات وين رايحة؟ شو حيصير برأيك؟
I'm sorry, what's the question again? Please, shortly, if you can repeat it.
إذا هول النقطتين يلي عم بيعيقوا مهمة الوفد اللبناني يلي عم بيفاوض تطبيق القرارات الدولية، نزع سلاح حزب الله، وأيضا الفجوة المالية، المفاوضات وين رح تروح إذا هول النقطتين ما صاروا، ما تنفذوا؟
No, nothing's going to happen. Nothing. It's all talk and hope and giving people hope they're going to do this and that. Nothing's going to happen. If this is absolutely. I mean, look, it's a give and take. We want everything because we are Lebanon. We are so special. There's nothing special in us. We have to prove we are special. We have to prove that we can play ball with the civilized group of nations. We have to prove, we have to be the role model of playing ball. We have to really be the Switzerland of the Middle East or the Paris of the Middle East that we claimed 30, 40, 50 years ago. We're not. We're doing the exact opposite. We're playing ball. We have nothing to negotiate with. We are the beggars here. We have to play ball. We don't have any resources left in Lebanon. We have a lot outside Lebanon, yes. In terms of human capital, financial capital, yes. But inside Lebanon, we have nothing. We have a bunch of warlords hungry for power, not letting anybody access power, writing regulations and law that don't make any sense, without any considering the IMF, some of them, and the World Bank as enemies, considering the United States as Satan. How the hell are you going to realize? How the hell are you going to achieve anything by throwing these slogans? Oh, Ummah Arabiya and Iran and all this. What did they do to you to be so loyal to them? Ideology? What ideology? You're bankrupt. You're poor. Your kids don't have jobs. Your kids have left you to the Western world. And what are you fighting for? And we have a president, who's hesitant. Or if I do that, it's gonna Hezbollah is not gonna win. Go there with big balls and crush them, and we will crush them in the United States and create law and order. Yeah, I say it like it is. Oh, you shouldn't say this. And who are you to tell me, Mr. X, that I shouldn't say this? Are you more patriot than me? Are you more Lebanese than me? My father is Lebanese, my mother is Lebanese, my family has been in politics, Lebanese politics, for 40 years. My uncle Salam was banker for a lot of people there. So why haven't I the right to say this? Why? Or anybody, not just me, anybody, any Lebanese American, a lot of them feel the same, believe me. I'm their spokesperson because they don't dare say these things. but I say it. This is it. Look, Winston Churchill used to say, a big hero, big role model for me,
نعم.
is that if you don't stand for anything in life, you better be dead. What? I mean, we have to be able to express ourselves. This is freedom.
صحيح.
I came to the United States because of freedom. I want to instill freedom, prosperity, capitalism in Lebanon. I want to see thousands of people getting jobs, getting opportunity, be respected. Not to be, the question they ask you, oh, are you Muslim? Are you Christian? Are you pro-Hezbollah? It's like Lebanon revolves around if you're pro-Hezbollah or not. Who cares? Who are they? They're nothing. Who are they compared to the potential of the Lebanese?
يعني أنت عم بتقول إنه لا اقتصاد بلا أمن وبلا استقرار سياسي، نحن بعد ما وصلنا لهذه القاعدة الذهبية.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Patricia.
أنت مرة قلت، وأنا كنت عم تابعك وعم بعمل الريسيرش لحضر حلقتي، قلت إنه حلمك إنه تقدر أنت وعدد كبير من رجال الأعمال اللبنانيين المغتربين تضخ المال والاستثمار بلبنان. قلت هيدا الشيء وقتها، قلت ما رح يصير إلا بعد رفع المخابرات السورية إيدها عن لبنان وإنهاء هيمنة حزب الله ومن خلفه إيران على القرار اللبناني. متى نشعر، متى سيستثمر زياد عبد النور بلبنان؟ هل نحن قربنا من هيدي المرحلة؟ قربنا من نهاية؟
No, we haven't yet. No, we're far from that yet. Hezbollah is still the remnants of this. Syria mukhabarat all over the place. The economy is back. Look, at the end of the day, again and again, capital is coward. No capitalist will invest real money in Lebanon if their money is hostage. You know, when they want to bribe somebody in Lebanon or corrupt somebody, all these people in power, they go and see what are their interests in Lebanon. They see their interests. I'm not going to have anybody, no matter how big he thinks he is or how powerful he is, to seize my assets in Lebanon or anybody's assets. We don't do that. You know, and now, is there security to do that? No. I mean, look at them. Look at all the big bucks out there. Look at the people out there. They have never invested in Lebanon. They don't invest in Lebanon. Even they tried to have Carlos Slim put money in Lebanon back 10 years ago. He's not stupid. He said no. Of course no. Because they want to use his money and his resources to continue the same bullshit. You know, this whole thing has to stop. They will not put any of their hands on any real money until they changed. And they think they're going to convince people by having all this touristic stuff. Oh, Lebanon is great. Come and invest. Look at how beautiful. This is all propaganda bullshit. They are very good at the propaganda. Like Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels under Hitler, the Nazi. He was the amazing propaganda. He convinced a whole bunch of educated German people that Nazi is great. And this is going to solve everything. The same thing is happening here.
Maybe in صحيح صحيح. نحن قرب وقت ما يخلص. أنا بس بدي روح معك على سؤالين بعد. أول شيء، من لا يرغب بتنفيذ الإصلاحات ومن هو المستفيد إنه ما يصير في هذه الإصلاحات بلبنان؟
The people in power who are clinging to power. They don't want to relinquish power. Because if there is all this islahat, they're going to leave power. And the Hezbollah people and their cronies and the Iranians, all our enemies, but especially the people in power. Look, we have a structure whereby the politicians scratch Hezbollah's back and Hezbollah scratches their backs by protecting them. So it's an interlocking relationship between Hezbollah and the politicians. They help each other, they support each other, they finance each other, and they keep the status quo. And anybody who dares coming challenging the status quo is a Mossad agent, is a traitor, is this and that. All propaganda bullshit, which they feed the press, which they also own and control.
No.
It's very simple. It's a symbiotic relationship that is which they think that nobody notices this. Everybody knows this. And all the smallest people will not invest in Lebanon because of that.
نعم.
We're not.
يعني أنت من عائلة سياسية مثل ما ذكرت بالأول. كان عمك سالم عبد النور نائب عن منطقة الشوف، وبعد وفاة عمك كان بيك خليل عبد النور نائب أيضا، وأنت اليوم مواطن أمريكي. والأمريكيين يحتاجون لخبراء بالشأن اللبناني، ولبنان يحتاج لمن يدعم قضاياه في واشنطن. قد مهم يكون شخص مثل زياد عبد النور عم يتعاطى بالملف اللبناني مع واشنطن، حكما رح يكون موقفك أقوى من أي سياسي بواشنطن. خبرنا شوي عن رؤيتك لهذا الموضوع.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have a lot of contacts in Washington, from the president down there, mostly Republican, but also Democrats.
نعم.
Uh, I've written this book about it, Ending Syria's Occupation of Lebanon, the U.S. Role. When I wrote this book in 2000, it went to the desk of Bush, to the desk of Cheney, and it was done, applied. A lot of people, Lebanese people, told me, now, do you really think that from your office in New York, you're going to liberate Lebanon from the Syrian
نعم.
military? 15,000? I told them, yes. They told me, are you crazy? I told them, no. You have no idea how crazy I am. And we did it. Look, at the end of the day, success is about persistence, resilience, and having a vision. Anything can be accomplished. Anything. If you're working with the right people, have the right vision, are persistent, and are resilient. And when people say, oh, but people are going to threaten you, terrorists, I told them, listen to me. I terrorize the terrorists. Okay? So if they want to bring it on, bring it on. I terrorize the terrorists. I have no fear. I'm doing the right thing for my country. I believe in this. I am a very astute analyst of what's happening. I have access to intelligence second to none. I'm not doing it for me. I'm at an age right now where I want to take it easy. I don't want to go, I'm not interested in any position. No position will fill the position I have. No position will give me the access I have, neither being minister or president or thing in Lebanon. Nothing. It doesn't fulfill my dream. I left Lebanon because Lebanon was too small for me, to be honest with you. I love Lebanon, but I left Lebanon back in the 80s because it's too small for me. Because I know that being a Catholic myself, a Greek Catholic, this is the maximum I can attain as a position. I'm not going to go and put myself in a box because I was born Greek Catholic. So what? I had much bigger ambition than that. I wanted to be the mover and shaker. That's why I came to the United States. And that's why I'm making the difference. But my love and my affiliation for Lebanon is very strong. And those who don't like it, tough luck. Get used to it or face the consequences.
Lovely. هيدي بتصح كوت بآخر لقائنا يلي قلته عن البرسيستنس وقدام مهم يكون عنا الإرادة لنقدر، ما في شيء مستحيل وقادرين نحقق. هيدي كتير مهمة للشباب اللبناني يلي عم بيتعذب ويلي لازم يعرف إنه في أمل إذا قرر وإذا دعم هذا الأمل بالعلم وبالإرادة. أنت زرت لبنان لآخر مرة بال1996. أي متى رح تزور لبنان مرة تانية؟
Once I do my job and I get the Hezbollah Accountability Act and I get these points done, and I see really actions from the president and the prime minister. And if the prime minister has to leave, he could leave. Nobody's irreplaceable. Nobody's unique. No, there is a tons of capabilities from the Lebanese all over the world to make things happen. I've met a lot of Lebanese in the diaspora, in Brazil, in the United States, in Asia, in Africa, everywhere. There is tremendous potential, and they all face the same thing. Should I go to Lebanon or not? I love Lebanon, but I can't go to Lebanon. This obstacle of Hezbollah and corrupted politicians, stupid politicians who still cling to power, and they think they're so smart, they're so dumb, and they have no vision. And I challenge them all the time, and we're going to challenge them. Enough of this cult of the personality, Sheikh Gaza, Walid Bek, or Nabih Berri Bek, وهذا كلهم بيوكي عشو. What have they done? What special education they have? What special resources they have? What have they done? They have done nothing other than clinging to power and playing politics for the last 40, 50 years. هيدا اجتمع مع هيدا وهيدا اجتمع مع هيدا. Who cares? Who cares if you've met each other, discussed what?
Exactly.
Like if we care, what results are you producing? What execution are you doing? Nothing. I don't give a crap about your meetings, your lunches, your dinners, your positions. You receive this guy, you receive that guy. Who
نعم.
cares?
نعم.
Who have you received?
يعني وضحت الفكرة. إن شاء الله بيكون لنا لقاءات تانية تنحكي وين صرتوا بالحزب الله accountability. بالفعل كان لقاء رائع. قد ايه مهم الشخص يكون عن جد هالقد في حب لبلده ونضال، ويكون مش عايز شيء من حدا ولا بده شيء من حدا. زياد عبد النور رجل الأعمال والخبير بالشؤون الجيوسياسية والاقتصادية، نورت السياسة والناس. أهلا وسهلا فيك.
Thank you very much for your time. Let me tell you something to close. Anybody can do it. If they have the resource, if they have the persistence, the resilience, anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I am the prime example, and I did it in very difficult times. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have these means of propagating the message. We didn't have anything like that. Today, you need the right contacts. You need an internet line. You can spread the message. You can crush them. You can win. It's the war of the words. It's more powerful than any army. The war of the words. Write, talk, be active, be involved, and keep challenging. Don't take anything at face value. Don't take anything they tell you at face value, because they all have agendas. Thank you.
Thank you. So we can. شكرا لك رجل الأعمال والخبير بالشؤون الجيوسياسية والاقتصادية زياد عبد النور. شكرا لكم مشاهدينا على المتابعة. طبعا نلتقى بحلقة أخرى مع ضيف آخر. إلى اللقاء.